The following program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
My name is Ted Cruz, and my pronouns are kiss my ass.
My pronouns are Reagan and Trump.
My pronouns are let's go Brandon.
Ladies and gentlemen, our people, our American citizens have dreams too. And one of those dreams is that they should be able to have a family cookout with hamburger buns.
Up next, faith over fascism.
The militant left in America are the modern-day version of book burners.
Do the wackos believe in science? Why, no, of course they don't.
There's no such thing as misinformation.
Do you want to comment on kind of the canceling of doctors?
Socialist cheat.
They stole the 2020 election. I had tasseled loafers on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe did this.
Joe Biden is not a nice man.
Joe Biden is a senile old pervert who's pulling on par with monkeypox.
Ay caramba.
When I said that I'm a Christian nationalist, I have nothing to be ashamed of because that's what most Americans are.
We'll all be given a free hobo to defecate in our front yard.
Who's going to tell Kamala?
Will Elizabeth Warren go on the warpath?
We're having the trial of the machines. Nice name, right?
There's nothing worse than when you start to develop feelings for someone or you're on a date and you realize they're a Democrat.
Lock her up! Lock her up!
That has a nice ring to it.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Glad to see everybody here today. Good day to be a Democrat today. They passed the Inflation Reduction Act, and Alex, music. The music's still playing. Shut it off. Hey! Music, cut it. Can't you hear that? Thank you. Not paying attention. Okay, yeah. Finally, something the Democrats finally got passed. And no thanks to the Republicans, because the Republicans voted against the whole damn thing. I mean, every single Republican voted against the Inflation Reduction Act. And I guess that shouldn't surprise anybody, because they've been basically trying to block anything good for this country since Biden became president, all right? Which is how you know that the Democrats are doing something good. When every Republican stands against it, okay? And, you know, the funny thing is that when this kicks in and the red states start to see, you know, some things being improved, the Republicans won't stand in the way, okay? They'll take all the credit for it, even though the Democrats are the ones that got it through. But the Republicans will be the ones taking all the credit for the benefits of not having voted for it, okay? Which is ridiculous, but that's the way politics runs in this country. Okay, they live on lies and falsity and political posturing as a means to as an end, you know, a means to an end. And it doesn't. If they had any problem with telling the truth or something like that, or telling lies, they wouldn't be politicians if they had problems telling lies. But because these people are politicians, lying comes naturally to them. But all 50 Democrats voted for it, and every single Republican stood against it. Okay, but I guess people were thinking that Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema would be the ones that would scuttle this thing, but even they voted for it. So that really surprised everybody. I think that was probably the big shocker, more than the Republicans unifying against it, was the fact that they actually got Manchin and Sinema behind it. I don't know how that happened. I'm sure there were deals made in the background for these two people to come on board with this. Maybe they were getting a shellacking from their home states, for these people to smarten up and start, playing ball and stop fucking around, with making things better for this country, over personal, or monetary gains or whatever you want to call it. So I'm thinking that maybe that's what it is. They were getting a lot of kickback, from the people in their home state saying, look, stop this, start siding with Democrats. You're a Democrat, for God's sake. We're trying to help people, especially veterans and stuff, of course, every single Republican voted against, putting the $35 cap on insulin. They're blocking that. I mean, they just, and on top of that, they don't want to help veterans by giving them health care, increased health care for, the sicknesses that they got from the burn pits over in the Middle East. So, who are these Republicans anyway that they are so adamant about, standing in the way of America? When people actively do something like that, it makes people really, I guess fearful would be one word, and it also makes people really demoralized to feel like, well, because I'm not sitting in Washington, D.C., I don't matter, okay? Only the people in D.C. matter, and that's the only people they ever talk to. They don't really go door to door anymore like older politicians from yesteryear used to do. They don't talk to the average people, The only way they talk to them is through polling, and they don't really listen to Americans. I mean, presidents used to do that because there was at the time communication required a lot on being physically around people to get what they were thinking. But once technology advanced and things started to become easier to talk to one another and require less initiative or motivation to go out and physically talk to people, I think that's partly how politicians became out of touch with American society, is that they have the medium in between that's kind of filtering out what they need to know. And polling is a great way to filter out what they need to know. Numbers look good on paper. It doesn't really give you a voice, doesn't really give you a conversation, does it? I mean, you don't really hear the stories that people have to go through to get the things they need, okay? Polling numbers are just that, numbers. And sometimes even that ain't accurate, okay? So I think that, for the Democrats to get this victory in the political climate that's been created, by both parties, okay? I'm not going to just say it's all in the Republicans. Democrats have to shoulder some of this too, It's amazing that they were able to pass this, okay? And it's sad at the same time that I have to say that it's such a big thing, because there used to be a time when Democrats could pass stuff easily to help this country. I mean, it was like that, I guess, before World War II, when we were trying to get out of the Depression. They were coming up with all kinds of ways to kick this nation in the nuts here to get it going. Financially and economically, to get jobs going and get people buying and stuff and get the banks back into giving out loans. They had to do all kinds of different things, okay? And maybe it was because all of it was geared to help out big business in this country, okay? Maybe by doing all those things back then, it was helping big business get back on its feet. And as a side effect to it, I guess it just puts people back to work. Maybe that's part of the reason why those things were created so quickly. But now I think that when you look at today's world, and industry has been like in another world basically because they're no longer rooted in this country. Maybe they feel like it's not, that this is not needed, that Democrats aren't really needed anymore to help come up with ideas to keep their companies going. Maybe because they looked at them as being more of a hindrance now because of all the regulations slapped on them, to try for one way, to protect the workers, and in another way to protect the environment. Okay, and so maybe they figure that's why, it was, you can't depend on Democrats anymore, because before they were helping us and now they're hurting us. But it's like, well, you're not seeing the whole picture. Yeah, sure, it was good when it was helping you, when it was getting your businesses open again and making money. But now that you're making money and you're doing all these things, you're also, damaging, workers' relations. You don't want to pay them as much. You don't want to give them benefits, and you're at the same time you're polluting the land. Okay, somebody had to step in and help that. I mean, that can't look good for business either if you're doing that. So, so Democrats had to be there to keep business sort of in an even keel, not all the way one way like the Republicans would have it, but keep them running, but not going overboard with things. Okay, that's the way they should be handled, not just say, okay, do what you want. So with this Inflation Reduction Act, obviously that means it's going to lower costs. When that's going to happen, I don't know. Gas prices have been going down a little, and I do mean a little at a time. At least around here, it's kind of gone down like, a penny to 5 cents a day, if that. I think other parts of the country are seeing a much quicker drop than when we're getting here in Maine. I don't know why that is, but it just seems like we're not really. It's going down. I'll just say it's gone down about 60 cents since the cost of gas has been going down. Okay, it's gone down about 60 cents from where it was. It was like $5 and $5.05, or at least in the gas station here. And so it's been over that. Okay, and so it's gone down about 60 cents since then. Okay, but it's still high. Okay, we were, $4.40 a gallon is still high. Okay, I didn't like that price even then. When we were paying that before gas started to rise. I didn't like that price either. I thought that was ridiculous. But now that we're back to it, you got people saying, "Oh, great, it's back. It's gone down." See how they work you into going along with the fucking way things are. They figure, yeah, people aren't happy at $4.30 a gallon, so let's jack it up to like $5.30 a gallon and leave it there all summer, and then we'll just bring it down, and then people will start to feel grateful that we lowered the price of gas when it was high to begin with. Okay, so yeah, they made it super high, so people were suffering, and now they figure, okay, now it's time to ease off on the valve there, and so now they're going to bring it back down to the high price that it was, where people weren't happy, and now people are happy because it's back to where it was. They think they actually got their way. I'm so sick of the game when it comes to gas. I really am so sick of the fucking game, and we desperately need to put that fucking shit away. Okay, oil companies have got way too much of a stranglehold on this world. They really do, and it's not fair. It's just not fair. And I'll tell you why it's not fair. Because for one thing, people in the world have come up with so many ways to power vehicles. I mean, even before people became all aware of this energy, the climate change thing and all that, there was already people out there inventing new ways to run an engine and on a vehicle. They would come up with corn and alcohol and all kinds of goddamn supplement things that, where gas wasn't needed. And what happened to these people? They just quietly disappear. None of these creations ever saw the light of day except on TV or, past the prototype stage. After somebody found a way to make some money off of getting people off gas, you never hear anything more about those said people, okay? Never. You never hear a damn thing. And I know 60 Minutes had a couple of shows on there back in the day where they were covering some guy who had come up with a new way to power his vehicle, okay? And then that was the only story you'd ever hear about that. And this, and then we're right back to bitching about gas, So there is no need for the world to be struggling on oil. There isn't. And if anybody out there has a brain in their head, okay, and knows how to make some kind of vehicle that runs on something other than gas, now's your chance to do it, okay? Get out there and do it. Get out there and fucking do it. And show other people how to do it. If we can't get the oil companies to cooperate, then we'll just get off of oil ourselves and say, fuck you. We're going to do what we want, and to hell with you guys. We'll find ways to run vehicles on something. It takes, there's more ways to fire in an engine than using gas, okay? So that's why, I think that, the idea that we have to be dependent on oil until we come up with green energy and stuff, that's bullshit. We have a medium until we get to that green energy to use, that we don't have to sit by and wait. We can use our existing vehicles and save money, okay? It just requires tinkering with the carburetor or some goddamn thing, in your engine to get it to accept something other than gas. All right, it can be done. People have done it, okay? Anyone who's good with motors and stuff like that would probably understand how to do it. So people, you need to start becoming innovative now. There was a time when people had to, before the industrial age, and now we got to do so again, okay? Now we're going to have to take matters into our own hands once again and start to come up with ways. I mean, how do you think the first automobile was created? It was created because somebody built one. It wasn't some company that built it. No, it was just a man. Built the fucking car. People loved it. They caught on. Then they made a business out of it, and it's like, that's how these things start. We need to have more people like that, get out there and make something. Get people, interested in making money off of you. Invent something that's going to benefit not just your wallet, but other people's wallets. That's where the real inventions are, okay? If you're doing these things for your own selfishness or for your own benefit, and you're not contributing to a new age, then what have you really invented? You might as well take out make a paper mache thing with duct tape or something and say, oh, look what I made. Who cares? It's just, but you need to invent something that benefits everybody, because that's what we need these days. We need somebody to come up with solutions that are not designed to become money ventures, but to become something that everybody benefits from. That's where you're going to make a mark in history. The days of trying to get rich quick and all that shit hasn't worked out for many Americans, okay? It hasn't worked out at all. And a lot of these people, you'll find, have lost everything over the years. And, now they don't trust anything. They don't trust the banks. They don't trust their jobs. All these people were trying to get rich quick, and they lost. So fuck those kind of things. Don't be going to school to go into financing or something like that so you can get rich quick. Doesn't work. And even if you do hit it big, you can lose it just as fast. All right. Use your brains to contribute to society, not take from it. That's the best way to live in this life, because too many of us think that happiness comes in the form of a dollar, and unfortunately people get that and they still ain't happy when they got it. So we're going to get, this bill will create more manufacturing jobs. In speaking of the chip manufacturing jobs, which will pay more, Okay, they'll pay a lot more than jobs people are working at now, which is good because that'll start the economy rolling. Now, whether this is going to stave off another recession, I don't know. That's all on timing there. I mean, it would have been better if we'd have got this passed sooner, but right now, I don't know. I mean, it's economists are saying a recession is coming, okay, and I don't know if this thing is going to move fast enough in time to try to stop it, but it will help to kind of get us off of the recession when it does happen. So that's a good thing that we have more manufacturing jobs. And the more manufacturing jobs you bring into this country, and the more it starts moving the economy, the more people are going to say, yeah, let's bring some more work in here, you know, bring some more manufacturing jobs, let's build this, let's build that, solar panels, let's start building that, you know, let's do more in America instead of in other countries, okay, and do it well. I mean, that's really the best thing. When you invest in your own country, that's when you do good, you know, that's when you do good, that's when you that's how you create a strong country. Okay, we can say America is strong because of all the money that's moving around inside the country and around the world. That doesn't mean strength. You know, strength comes from when other people are interested in investing in your country. Okay, when other countries are investing in the United States, that's when you have a strong country. But who's been doing that, you know, recently? I can't think of anybody. You know, so we're not like a strong country that way. Economically, but we could be again if we bring more manufacturing work back here and start giving people in this country better paying jobs. Can't go wrong with that. You know, imagine, you know, people being able to buy their own homes again, you know, and being able to pay for them, you know, mortgages and stuff like that. Banks will love it, right? I mean, who's not going to love it? I mean, Republicans ain't going to hate it when they're making money from Biden's idea here. You know, they're not going to bitch. They can not vote for it, but they'll try to take all the credit for it when the time comes, you know, like I said. All right, let's go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Dear CEO, what's it gonna take for you to do something? Yeah, do you even care?
Climate change affects all of us.
This is your chance to do something good.
The Republican Party would like to welcome your children to school.
Additional gun control legislation or executive actions are not appropriate. They're not going to pass.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Kolla här. Kolla här.
Då var det där en lavin eller?
Ja, den är kontrollerad. Alltså, det är såna jäkla krafter.
Är det safe?
Ja. De vet vad de gör.
Pappa!
Ja, det är ingen fråga. Harry, det är lugnt. Harry!
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Bring it up to the front. Yeah, they've done it before. UPS will bring it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What? Oh, okay. Yay, hey, everybody. Welcome back. Let's see. I was going to talk about something else here besides that, and I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. Russia. As you know, they've been under sanctions here since March, I guess. And it's really hit their economy pretty bad over there. And people who live in Russia, some of them are fleeing the hell out of Russia because life is becoming very, very difficult. People have lost their jobs in Russia. Jobs that they had, and not just jobs that were based in the United States, but jobs that came from other countries, like from England and what have you. I mean, food is getting to be a costly thing to buy, not impossible, but costly. And the government over there is cracking down on speech, which is no surprise. It seems to me like in the history of that piece of land in the world, speech has always been its primary enemy. Okay, think about it. Every government that ever existed on that piece of land where Russia sits today, every single government has always had a problem with speech. They never want people to say a fucking thing over there about anything. Every government, okay? And it hasn't changed. And I think maybe those people over there, when you live in a land that has such a history of shitting all over its citizens, I guess it becomes ingrained in people to accept it when it happens because, oh, it's happened before, we went through it all so many times before, we'll go through it again. And, I don't know why people like that, except they must be the boiled frog over there where they can minimize anything. You know what I'm saying? They're the ultimate minimizers. They just, it's like Chevy Chase in one of his vacation films. I mean, he's always trying to find a silver lining in every disaster that happens to the family. Well, that's how the Russians over there think. They try to find a silver lining in every fucking problem that, that they have to go through over there. And at the same time, they have a loyalty to their nation. And that part I don't really understand, okay? And maybe it's because I'm an American and I haven't grown up in a country that oppressed its people in that fashion, okay? But I gotta say this, if the United States ever became a country, a government, like what's in Russia or the USSR, I wouldn't stay here one fucking second. I'd pack my shit and get the hell out of Dodge. I mean, that's just how the way I look at it. Why should I have loyalty to a country that no longer exists? You know? Why should those Russians over there have loyalty to a country that doesn't exist? They had prosperity in Russia until 2012, I guess, 2013. And that's when things started to go downhill for that country. Okay? And it took them, you know, a while. It just, in little steps, you know, it took them time to turn what was a good government that people liked. They had the freedom of speech and all that. And now they're right back where they started, over there. They really are. It may not be USSR. It's just their mirror of it, okay? And that's what it is now. And I'm like I'm saying, it just, I feel like the people over there put their loyalty in the wrong thing, okay? Their loyalty as people over there has to be family first, you know, country second, okay? Your family is your family, always will be your family, okay? Your country is your country until it changes, okay? When it changes, you don't owe that any more loyalty than that, okay? You don't owe the new people running the country any fucking loyalty, okay? They took that away from you. They're the ones that stabbed you in the back. You don't owe them a goddamn thing. And Putin stabbed his people in Russia in the back by taking away a decade or more of prosperity in that country after the Soviet Union fell, okay? You know, they got rid of the mafia out of there. You know, they crime, you know, the police got rid of that in a huge way. Businesses went over there and made a boom in that country, put millions to work, okay? Made quite an impact in the land. But then Putin comes in and says, no, fuck that. I don't want that anymore. We're going to go to war. And for what? Because of some stupid reason that he thinks Nazis are over in fucking Ukraine, okay? They're not, you know, there's no Nazis in there. There's Nazis in the United States. I don't know why he doesn't come over here and invade us. I don't know. But, you know, the thing is he, you know, he goes over there because he figures he can get away with fighting with them because there's nobody going to come to their aid, right? Which he mistakenly thought would be the case, okay? But the truth is that people in Russia right now are watching everything fall apart. You know, the stores are, I mean, it's like going right back 30, 40 years overnight practically, okay? In just 6 months, it's gotten like that over there. Now, it's all way, way back to the way it was before the Soviet Union fell, okay? They might as well draw the Iron Curtain back up again because they're cutting off as much as they can of the outside world so that way the Russians can't see anything going on beyond their borders, okay? So essentially the Iron Curtain is coming back up, all right? And with Finland and Sweden, was it, joining NATO, the UN, Putin had a fit and a half because of it. Okay, he didn't like that at all because now he's got countries, NATO countries, bordering his country again. So that means that tells me that he was planning on going over there in the first place. Okay, obviously he was going to go after he got done with Ukraine. He was going to go into those countries too. But now he's not going to be able to, unless he's crazy enough to try and do it. And I feel like, well, you know, on a side note, I feel like, well, if they can move it that fast for them, then, you know, why not Ukraine? But that's, like I said, that's another discussion. But the thing is like I said, the Russian people over there, many still feel loyalty to Russia, okay, because we were born here, this is our homeland and all that. Yeah, it's your homeland, but the government is not on your side, Okay, they're taking away your homeland by making you feel imprisoned in it. Okay, and you want to be loyal to the government that does that to you? Really? Russia has good people, but the government certainly doesn't deserve those good people because they can't. The government cannot possibly ever measure up to the loyalty of its people. I mean, look, like I said, Putin stabbed his own nation in the back by launching this war. Surprise overnight. Nobody even knew this was going to happen over there. Nobody. Okay. And now that it's been going on for 6 months and their economy is crashing, they may not have much of an economy by Christmas, if that. Okay, it might get so bad over there that crime is going to escalate back to where it was. The mafia is going to be back over there again. Black markets are going to spring up all over Russia. Okay, they're going to have drug problems all over again. It's going to be the replay of the Cold War years back in Russia. That's the way it's going to be. A replay of all that. Do those people really want to go back to that? Okay, do they really want to go back to that? Because they must know how hard it was to get away from it. They had to have a revolution, 2 revolutions over there, to get that country out of that rut. Okay, they had to have that happen. Okay, and I can't see how those people would want to see that happen all over again. And maybe the United States putting sanctions on them in an attempt to perhaps motivate people over there to overthrow Putin wasn't the right thing to do, because like I said, the people still feel loyalty to Russia, and no matter what form it takes, they won't leave it. And that's because these people for a long time have put government over everything else. Okay, government over God, government over family. Okay, and that's the reason why they are the way they are, is their priorities are all fucked up. And we have people in America that think the same fucking way, even in the Republican Party, and we have people that will put their party over religion, above family, okay, above everything, even above their oath of office to whoever you want to say, the military or the political. These people will put their faith over all of that in this country, and we got to watch out for individuals like that because they're dangerous. People getting into power who have that kind of sequence of priorities, their decisions are going to be altered by the way they prioritize things, and I don't think we want to have that in our country. We have to have people in government who care about family first, because if you don't care about your family, how the fuck can you care about what's going on politically? How the hell can you care about what's happening to your country if you don't give a shit about your family? Because if you can close the door to your family, you can close the door to anyone. You don't have to care about a soul, if you can't care about your family, And, I don't see Republicans these days give 2 shits about their family. How many of these people ever actually talk about, their kids or their family and stuff when they're on these political rallies and things like that? No, they're talking about guns, they're talking about abortion, they're talking about all these things that, are they're issues that are designed to divide the country, okay, to turn it against itself, okay, which that shows right there that they don't care about anybody. If they have a good, clear conscience about making people fight each other over things that really weren't, an issue that needed to be politicized, okay, these people will do that and don't think anything of it, and they don't care. They just don't care. There used to be a time when they'd call themselves the family party and stuff like that, and the religious right and all the shit. They haven't lived up to any of that. They haven't lived up to any of that in all the years I've been around. Okay, they've sadly fallen short of it. Where the Democrats had to bridge the gap between where they ended up and where they were trying to go as far as what they were saying. But the funny part is like I said, is that with Russia, what they're doing, what the people are feeling over there. They're upset. Okay, they are angry. They're just afraid to say it, you know, because they're back under the thumb again. They know their words are being listened to. Okay, they know their phone conversations are being bugged again. They know that their whatever internet activity they're doing, they're being monitored. They know this already. It goes without saying. I mean, when you wake up, there's air to breathe, and when you know, so they know that this is all coming back. So now they're back under the thumb again, and they're afraid to say what they really mean. Okay, and at the same time, they say they're loyal to their country. I would have left before it would have got to that point. I would have left there a long time ago. I'd have got my family together, said, let's get the fuck out of Dodge. Let's go to another country and start anew there, okay? Because Russia's going to go through another generation of horse shit, and I'm not in the mood for it. You know, we went through it once already. I'm not going through that shit again, okay? If that's what those people over there want to do, then let them live that, okay? Because obviously they didn't learn well enough the first time. So, yeah, those people over there, I don't think sanctions are what's going to wake them up, okay? Unfortunately, it's going to take their own government arresting people right and left, executing them for reasons that nobody ever knows about, you know, trumped up charges of treason, you know, being a traitor. That's what's going to motivate them. Not the closing of a McDonald's or a fucking mall or a Victoria's Secret and all that shit. No. You know, because those people live for years without that kind of stuff around anyway. All right? So it's not like they feel like they're losing anything, even though it was a luxury that they had. It wasn't around long enough for them to really get attached too much to it, okay? So what'll happen there is their government is going to come down harder on them than they should. That's what's going to start the revolution again, because that's the way it started the first time over there that got rid of the USSR. The people themselves, you know, had to have enough of it, okay? And what happens is they put aside their so-called loyalism to their country, and they realize that if you're going to be loyal to your country, you have to be willing to protect it. You have to be willing to save it from itself, and that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to get rid of the real demon in that country, which was its own government, okay? Because they were proving to be of no use to the country at large. The people were suffering ridiculously for no reason, okay? They saw corruption on every level of government over there, and they just said enough is enough, okay? It's worth risking our lives to get rid of that monster than it is to keep our lives living in fear in order to protect our life, you know? I mean, you know, at some point, people do come to that realization where, you know, they're so unhappy to get up every fucking morning to go live in a world that you can't do a goddamn thing in unless somebody okays it before you do it, okay? To, you know, work and then come home, and in between it's just fear and anger, you know, and the only thing that they can do to try to deal with that anger and fear is get drunk on vodka, you know, you know, or play, you know, stupid games or something. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that they can do. And I think that, you know, you can't keep a country stagnant like that, and that's what's going on over there. They're trying to reel the nation in back to the way it was early 20th century, which is just as much what the Republicans are trying to do right now here in America by reeling us way back to the beginning of the 20th century, okay? Because for some reason, some idiots there think that those years were the greatest years, okay? They don't, and they wouldn't know because a lot of them never lived those years, so they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, okay? But it's worse even for Russia, you know, to go back to those days and live that way, because people back then were just plain miserable, okay? They lived on fear. They didn't know half the time what was true or not true because they were told lies, and that was the only source of information they had. You know, I don't know how long it will take or how much more misery those people are going to have to withstand before they decide that a revolution again is what's needed. Because if they stay there and keep living under this kind of regime, then the person who replaces Putin, whenever that time will be, will continue that philosophy of government until somebody tries to overthrow him or her, whoever that may be. You know, so this will go on until it doesn't anymore, okay? And we know how long the Soviet Union lasted. So people that are my age over there now will probably never live to see that those years in the early 21st century come back, which were the best times, as far as they're concerned, the best times in Russia. Because the free world sort of invaded their country with all kinds of, you know, businesses and money-making opportunities and all kinds of great things. Made people lots of money over there, okay? And practically overnight, that country has just fell backward 50, 60, 70 years, you know? It's just, you know. So, do I feel bad for them? Yes, because not every Russian over there agrees with what's going on in Ukraine, okay? A lot of them are pissed off as hell, but they can't say it. They can't say it because they know they're being watched. And we know that they didn't like it because you remember the riots that were going on in Moscow, okay? And, you know, now that we don't hear any more about it, we know the government has really cracked down hard on the civilians over there now, and they're controlling what the media gets over here. So, yeah, we know that the old ways of the Soviet Union are back. And the people are... If I was them, I would leave. I really would leave, because anyone who stays there can never really have a future, a prosperous future. They can't. They just can't. You know, I'm sorry, but the chances that they had of being something more have already come and gone, and now they're back to where they were. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of people over the next how many years who are just going to, you know, drink themselves to death, because they're going to see that, you know, the stress, the fear is too much for them now to deal with. They can't deal with it no more, okay? They're going to see their sons and daughters coming home in body bags with this relentless fight in Ukraine, which is not going to end anytime soon, people, okay? They're going to keep fighting over there, and Ukraine's going to suffer as a whole. I don't know how many of those Ukrainians will ever be able to go back to their homes over there. I don't know. I really don't know. And the damage that's been done to that country is devastating so far. And you know, it's just very unfortunate, you know, that's the way it is. I mean, without getting into a whole other conversation about that. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope everybody has a great upcoming week and work week. And please keep your ears open to COVID-19 news that's local, and the monkeypox thing that's going on, which, you know, we've got, last I heard, there was 3 cases of that now in Maine. Could be more now. But I knew the numbers were going to go up. As soon as we got the first case here, I knew within a week we were going to have some more. So there'll be more coming. And let's see. Subscribe and comment. Love to hear anything you got to say about the stuff I talk about. And take care of each other and try to be kind. Kindness can go a long ways. It's like throwing a little pebble into a pond and the ripples of it go out. Being kind to one person can be kind of like that. So if you want to make a difference in the world, start with that. It's a very simple thing to do. So take care, everybody. I'll talk to you later. fucking goddamn thing never works when it's supposed to work. Why the hell do I even put this thing running here? Huh? Son of a bitch. I can't believe...